the first to know. Nsem-Pii.
Lawyer Paul Admochiri. Etnas na tiri for etnas na ene enye nsem. Nsem odi tudwa efa abronye case ayabaye na question busa say we nyina why all this we ekwahifa na anyem bia ya na murafi de mudie adudi de tese so unjustify by say wohwe bibia ye move kwa that criminal libel law and as sa niema na members of parliament enyina hia mutimi yifiro prekopero minim say his excellency John Dramani Mahama sad abasa say freedom of expression e be free wara adudi ma ye no madina dem e ma even kwamra bo bi ansa no ye NDC guru kurat na no abetum e di ahwem say pan nka so etumfo he Mahama etumfo Christian yehunu adai now he we are Lawyer Paul actually zinma say his excellency John Dramani Mahama nya abotre ampa se much no Monfa nko court mudna ko afede masa amano se Friday no besa bebiem na anyem bia edi nko anu aye meanwhile ama minority in parliament so wofu ama mo so de omonsem abetudwa na Lawyer Paul ebiem achichense mu aba bam na tifo me pese bechinti yenko nkoti Lawyer Paul Admochiri no de nsem na etudwa embra
Akufo-Addo's brother, he has been using the presidential jet. What did Akufo-Addo's brother do? He went to the civil court, took out a writ of defamation, and he sued them. I don't even know whether the matter is ended. That's how we build a democratic society. Because criminalizing speech is the first and major antidote for the growth of democracy. And all of these people that we eulogize, Kwesi Pratt Jr., who is launching his book today, he's finished launching by now, Kweku Baku Jr., who attended the event graciously, Nyao Tamaklo, who was at the event, Nana Adodanko Akufo-Addo, former president, who else was in the fight? Ben Efson, Cabral Bleami here. All of these people went into a fight with government so that speech will not be criminalized, so that journalism, blogism, if there's something like that, publication, Facebookism can be done and people can sue. I saw my brother Bobre answer comment about it in a way that was very interesting. I'd like to show you the video. Have a look.
What I'm hearing, almost say the arrest is based on the fact that or say IGP corrupt. I think okay, so can be so far Remonacha Yoko. So when I make us a Mr. Minima Semnimu and still you're finding out me position on this matter. And you see, I believe in principles. Me position on this matter. Say the main matter yes, then I think Abronye arrest is needless. The main matter ebia now there is something beyond but if only the issue is about the waka afa IGP one. IGP, I mean, is an individual, he's a person. If it's about IGP, we are corrupt. IGP can go to court, and IGP doing court. He can go to court for defamation. I don't think say a criminal, and you're criminal. These are some of the things. But I mean, the entire me raise here, your supporters no, enemy followers, na be buafu because they feel say bobi omo be ye in this omo be MPP ni bia kamano tum. Yes, omo be ye me feel say it's wrong. That heavy PDB year me feel say it's wrong, no. That is I still insist say it's wrong. Me say me my pencil it was wrong, and today I come and defend it say and you're right. The reason why I make say wrong is because I went through the same process and it was wrong. So if say you're wrong now, I don't see how I can justify it today, say, and then you're right. I mean,
That was Bobiansa, who is, he calls himself an NDC foot soldier. Oliver Vomaho, one of the human rights activists, put it on his Facebook page that he doesn't even understand why they are doing that. There's so much conflict. Check social media. There's conflict in the north. Police are needed everywhere. And the police machinery is used to arrest and have Abronye in cells to teach him a lesson that he said that the IGP, he alleged that the IGP was corrupt. The Inspector General of Police. So if a person is Inspector General of Police and something is said about him, he should use the police machinery because he has authority to arrest those people. Whilst the Parliament of 2001, when they were repealing the criminal libel law, I was looking for it today. It just took a bit long. Thursday, I'll bring it. I'll bring the memorandum that went to Parliament. The philosophy block, unanimously, the whole Parliament, NDC MPP, voted unanimously that this issue of criminalizing speech is something that should be banished to our history. Now, 2025, 24 years after 2001, 24 years after 2001, we are back at the same place, dealing and battling with criminal libel under a different guise of causing fear and panic. There's some regulation like that. I remember that the people at, what are they called? Where Manasseh used to work, Suleiman Brame's people, Kwame Kaikai, Fourth Estate and Media Foundation, them, West Africa, they were saying that also has to be repealed because governments can apply. The other day, Kandapa arrested some journalists. You remember that? He arrested them. They had published something and something about presidential jet. And he arrested them. There was a lot of hue and outcry from everywhere. And in that conversation, they said that this should be. Abronye DC sits in his place as regional chairman of the New Patriotic Party. Sits in his place at Sunyani. He's opened a podcast. He attacks MPP people, NDC people. On occasion, I have had occasion to call him to talk about the Duncan Williams situation, and he had explained, and we spoke about it, and the matter died. If he says something, the libel courts are there, especially given what everyone is really quiet about on social media, but we have all seen it. We have seen people who have said worse things, who have been given national security protection in this country. They have said worse things about people, not just about IGP, but about chiefs, about pastors, about everyone. And they have been given national security protection. And then we have Abronye say something about IGP. And then they arrest him and they keep him there till Friday, 12 September. That's when he's going to reappear in court. And it's a complaint by whom? I'm not even sure. Maybe his lawyers will come in, they'll come and tell us. A complaint by whom? Is it a complaint by the Honorable COP, Christian Tatayoonu, the Inspector General of Police? Is he the complainant in the matter? Is another person the complainant in the matter? What is the foundation of the complaint? That Abronye has said something against him, something he has said, and it's criminal? I don't get it. Let's go to the touch screen and see what the minority in Parliament concerning matter. Given that most of the youth are, because we don't want, everyone wants their party to win election. Yes, that's correct. If I'm MPP, I want MPP to win election. If somebody's NDC, they want NDC to win election. There's no problem about that. But we don't want a society that is funny. We don't want a society. That's why when you go on social media, whether NDC or MPP, you find everybody says, what's this Abronye arrest about? What is it? What is it about? The other day here in Metro TV, during the election, during our program Good Morning Ghana, some guy who was an auctioneer came with police. It was mistaken to be a police action on the program. You remember the outrage from both MPP and NDC. We don't want these things in Ghana because we have long gone past it. We have been told by our forebears that they have fought the battle and removed the criminal libel law. Kweku Baako and others. They removed the criminal libel law in Parliament in 2001. 24 years later, we have to be having this conversation in Ghana, Africa's finest democracy, Africa's best democracy. For 35 years, we have had uninterrupted changing elections. From in 2000, Ghana was celebrated as the African country since the end of the Second World War that has been able to change government peacefully. Ghana was celebrated 25 years ago that we are the country that has been able to change peacefully. Since then, we have done it in 2008. We have done it in 2016. We have done it in 2024. And in 2025, we have to be thinking about whether there's criminal libel or not. People have to be concerned about what they say. 9 September 2025 for immediate release. Statements by the Minority Caucus on remand of Kwame Bafo Abronye DC and the growing culture of political persecution and abuse of power. The Minority Caucus expresses grave concern over the arrest and remand of Kwame Bafo Abronye, popularly known as Abronye DC, the Bono regional chairman of the New Patriotic Party. Mr. Bafo was arraigned before the Accra Circuit Court today and remanded into police custody until Friday, 12 September 2025, on 2 charges of alleged offensive conduct conducive to a breach of the peace. The circumstances surrounding Abronye DC's arrest and detention reveal a disturbing pattern. The government is increasingly weaponizing the judicial system against perceived opponents. This vague and overly broad application of the law falls far short of international standards of legal specificity. Even more troubling, his arrest follows attempts to seek political asylum in 8 countries, citing persecution and threats to his life. The denial of bail and his remand clearly suggests punishment, not justice. This case is not isolated. We see a deliberate and systematic campaign to suppress dissent. Journalists, social commentators, and opposition figures harassed through arbitrary arrest and detention. State security deployed to intimidate citizens who expose corruption or question government narratives. A climate of fear where ordinary people hesitate to exercise their constitutional right to free expression. Such orchestrated persecution is a betrayal of the democratic principles upon which Ghana was founded. The Minority Caucus stands in solidarity with all voices of dissent and affirms their right to hold government accountable without fear of persecution. Meanwhile, government's neglect of urgent national crisis is glaring. In the northern region of Ghana, communal violence has claimed at least 31 lives and displaced nearly 50,000 people, with more than 13,000 forced to seek refuge in Côte d'Ivoire. This is not just a local tragedy, it is a regional humanitarian emergency that shames our nation. That citizens must cross international borders to find safety is an indictment of a government that has abandoned its basic duty to protect its people. Our northern compatriots deserve urgent attention, not the neglect and indifference that have characterized the state's response so far. Political witch hunts cannot be used as smokescreen to deflect attention from this humanitarian disaster. We also draw attention to an alarming escalation of threats against political leaders, including the minority leader, Honorable Osahene Alexander Afenyo Markin, our Chief Whip, Honorable Frank Anodompre, and our national organizer, Mr. Henry Nana Boache Nanabi. Reports of assassination plots issued openly by NDC executives and their associates while authorities look away signal a dangerous deterioration of democratic tolerance. This climate of intimidation is not a partisan issue. It is an assault on democracy itself. Such threats violate international democratic norms and cannot be dismissed as mere local politics. They demand immediate, serious investigation. The Ghana Police Service must rise above partisanship, abandon its current posture as a tool of the ruling party, and guarantee protection for all political actors regardless of affiliation. The Minority Caucus reiterates that this government has abandoned its constitutional obligation, choosing instead the path of authoritarian consolidation, judicial persecution, executive overreach, economic manipulation, and security failures have converged into a perfect storm that endangers both democracy and development in Ghana. We remain resolute in our commitment to uphold the rule of law, protect human rights, and restore public trust in our democratic institutions. Ghana's democracy is too precious to be surrendered to fear, intimidation, and authoritarian excesses. It's signed by Jerry Shaibu Ahmed. He's the second deputy minority whip. He's also the MP for Weja Bawe constituency. Now, this is the video that they refer to, where a young man who obviously belongs to the NDC, I believe it was during the Akwitia by-election, goes out there and threatens names of people, boldly speaking to media. He's not worried that if you carry out such threats publicly, you may be apprehended by the police and you may be asked not to go within a certain distance of the people that you are threatening, etc., etc. All of those laws which are alive in other democracies are not here, or he believes that nothing will happen to him based on the color of his party. I'm not sure why. I'm not so sure why. But here he is.
I'm not on prayer. Nana B. Umudiagwa, wallahi, umbewu. Me don't yakupon. Me kabe papa form. After marking, I'm not on prayer. Nana B. Omuni show mobile as you. I'm not on prayer. Nana B. Umudiagwa, wallahi, umbewu. Me don't yakupon. Me kabe papa form. After marking, I'm not on prayer. Nana B. Omuni show.
Go onto the mic and say that Samuel Kujeta Balakwa, Sam George, they will die if they do that. To clarify the context of my earlier comments regarding Boku matters, we came to a better understanding that my statement was a direct reaction to an unfortunate tweet made by Dr. Ikuya Amwako, deputy spokesperson for Dr. Bawumia's campaign, and was never intended to undermine ongoing efforts to foster peace within the Boku enclave. Like all well-meaning Ghanaians, I remain deeply concerned about ensuring lasting peace and stability for our brothers and sisters in that part of the country. In line with this commitment, I have since deleted the post in question. Wow. Wow. So when the Mampurugu people reacted, Kwesi Kwarteng called the guy. I said, oh, Chief, I'm sorry, it's not whatever. They had a conversation. Few minutes later, Kwesi Kwarteng posted this, that he has reached out to the guy and they have had a conversation. That's how political communication ought to be run. You say something and you have to notice when you have said something that this is very wrong. And then you have to reach out to people and make peace and move on. This is excellent. I think that Kwesi Kwarteng should be commended. I think he should be commended for the way, put his picture back, for the way he does these things. I mean, you should watch him when you see him talking, especially when he's paired with miracles. It's just beautiful. It's really, really good. I think that these are great future communicators for the future government of Ghana if the MPP gets there. They are very, very powerful, very solid, sound. You know, they are well-meaning, no insults. They deal with the matters. It's just amazing. I think that Ghana is getting onto something very, very good with the list of the MPP communicators that are showing up in this election, from Bawumia's camp, Kennedy's camp, Brian Achampon's camp. It looks very good. I think that Kwesi, good show, yeah, good show. Keep it up. Yeah, okay. All right. Now,